Hi, everyone. My name is Isabel Zimmerman with Attracting Wisdom, and we are in part 3. And you are meeting Anja, who you've been hearing her voice and listening to her session. So, welcome, Anja.
Hello.
So, thank you so much for doing this and discussing your session and breaking it down and sharing what has happened after your session. And I think that's really exciting. So, let's dive right in. And if you haven't listened to part 1, please go ahead and listen to part 1 around Atlantis. So, Anya, here we are in your session. We go into that life and you see yourself as this woman. And we go into these dwellings with cloth doors. And we walk in, you walk into chanting, right? And meditation and chanting. And I loved when you said, oh, on the ground, there are symbols. And I said, is it light language? And is it spirit? So, what do you remember about that life?
Wow, Isabel, now when you're talking about this, I'm having like full body goosebumps and my eyes are watering. I literally want to cry because I remembered, everything what you are saying, like now it's still in me. Like
Yeah.
not only the energy, but also images. Um, yeah, I mean, I have to admit, like most of the session, I don't remember. Like when we were talking before, like this
Yeah.
video, I was like, oh my God, I don't remember like what I will say, but some of the parts, they're really with me. So that part when I was in that tent or whatever that was, and yeah, I remember, oh my gosh, I can still feel the sand, like on the floor, like below, my feet. And I was standing on this sandy ground, and suddenly the symbols started appearing. Like there was chanting, and like the symbols started, drawing, appearing out of nowhere, like, in the middle of the tent, in the sand. And I remember the symbol. I told you it was a triangle with a spiral, like an open triangle with a spiral. And it was so powerful. So um it was it was light language, it was communication with spirit. So it's I'm gonna use analogy. So yeah, basically how I feel it, how I saw it, it's like spirit world is like a warehouse. And whatever, at that time when we were there, we were asking for, food and abundance and, some other stuff that we needed on this beautiful island. And, they suddenly appeared. It's like, yes, the spirit world said, yes, here you are, that's you, that's your order. So basically, it's like a warehouse where you put an order and they just deliver. And it was so amazing because everything was available, everything. And yeah, that makes my heart sing because so many people, they live in lack. And I used to live in a lot of lack as well, like lack mindset. But know that there's like so much. Everything is available. Everything. Spirit world is a warehouse. We have a
Yes.
freaking warehouse around us. So yeah.
So right
Uh,
after her session, she actually found the symbol with the triangle and the
yeah.
spiral.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
spirit, so for me in my awakening journey, I actually see sacred geometry. So a lot of people can see auras, but I will actually see sacred geometry with my human eyes. And when I'm in a very relaxed state or a meditative state or right before I fall asleep, I will also see sacred geometry. And it looks like a kaleidoscope, and I know it's an activation. So I am fully aware of light language and activations. And when they were working with spirit, they got into a meditative state. So they did chanting or mantras or humming or whatever, it matters not. It's the same here in this Earth Day time, no matter where you are, to connect to the non-physical realm of the spirit. And then I asked her, I said, Anja, who are you working with? And she said, Gaia, Mother Earth, and Patone, Chief Patone, which was a fertility chief. And I thought that was just so amazing, you know?
I
And
had never heard of Patone before. Like, I have no
no,
idea where I got that, so
yeah. And then so she came out, right? And then she left the dwelling and she looked up in the sky and she saw the symbols in the cloud. And that is how spirit communicates here. Spirit can imprint something in the water, spirit can imprint a cloud. The logic mind will say, "Oh, that cloud looks like a heart. Oh, that's odd." It's like, "No, that's a sign. That is spirit, your higher self, your spirit team communicating with you." So then she went to the volcano. And this really imprinted on Anja because Anja, before we started to record, she really wanted. So tell them what you said about the volcano.
yeah, we were on this beautiful island, beautiful, beautiful island with a lot of, greenery, and there was a volcano, and volcano was erupting. There was lava coming out, and our logical mind is like, oh my God, that's dangerous. There's danger. We have to run away. We have to be afraid. But no, like the message that came through, it was the volcano has consciousness, and volcano does not want to hurt you. Volcano is volcano. It's erupting, it's a natural process, and volcano does not want to harm you. So there's everything around, like that we see is dangerous. The volcano, like dangerous animals or whatever. They are nothing. I mean, they are consciousness, they have consciousness, they have love, they are full of love. So that was the main message, that everything what we see and we think that it's dangerous, that will harm us, in essence it will not, but it depends what kind of meaning we project to that thing. So that volcano, the horrible big volcano that could kill everybody, it was actually really nice, like really, really nurturing energy, and really, it was really beautiful, calm energy. That was really interesting. Yeah.
Yes. And so everything is consciousness. So a lot of awareness is everything is energy because we've had the CERN collider for a long time, since 1970s, and we've done particle physics. And I would say the um, masters or past the universities of bachelors um, are fully aware that we're in a liquid like substance and that everything is not energy, but everything is consciousness. So communicating to the volcano, communicating to the field, communicating to spirit, it was just normal. It was normal. And what I really got from that session was your higher self said, high trust. The reason why in that Atlantinian life you were able to communicate with spirit is because you trusted spirit. You weren't, you were in relation to spirit. You were basically calling them up and saying, hey, we need some assistance. And they're like, okay, we'll activate you in your body and whatever. And it's on its way. You weren't attached to when it arrived. You just knew it was going to arrive and you had high trust. And so
Yeah.
your higher self really stressed that high trust is a must. So when you are co-creating with spirit, having high trust doesn't distort the field of consciousness so it can be received. And that's what a lot of people are missing. Like, because they want to know how to manifest, but that's it. It's like you have to have high trust. And it is a relationship and a co-trust. So then your higher self, we went into your inner child. She was just like, be silly, play with children. Do you remember that? Do you remember how she was kind of helping you,
Barely. A
have
little.
fun, be silly, and that you're going to have bad days. Like you're going to wake up with a pimple on your face, but it's okay. And she was really talking about, I said, Anja sometimes feels like really clear and then she falls apart. And your higher self was so sweet, but she was like, you have all these scenarios in your mind, and then you experience what's not in your mind of your scenarios. But that doesn't mean what you experience wasn't the best scenario for you.
Oh my God, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, this is
And
really
that you were,
powerful.
yeah, and you were going through, and you probably are still, but you were going through transition. And then
Mm.
she says, oh, she just needs a getaway. So tell everyone where. So after the session, Anja texts me and she's in Dubai. So tell them
Yeah,
about your
that was pretty
getaway.
wild. It was completely unexpected. I mean, I was invited to trip to Dubai. Like everything was pretty much paid. I just had to buy, plane ticket. And I was like, okay, I'll go. And it was the most incredible experience ever. I was like on top of Burj Khalifa, the highest building in the world. And there were this angel wings, on top that you can take pictures. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And, I felt really like my inner child was screaming of joy when I went up there. And I'm afraid of heights, but still, like, it was absolutely amazing. And then we went to the beach and I saw up in the sky, and there was this, I sent you, yeah, there was the shape of an angel. There was a cloud in the shape of an angel. So it was all about angels and all about divine support in Dubai. And I never been there before. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't expect anything. I was just like trusting, that everything will be fine. I'm there for a reason. And I met amazing people. I spent incredible time, incredible 5 days. And I'm so grateful. And I'm pretty sure that that was also the result of the session that we made. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like
Yeah.
so funny. And you got to tell them your passport story.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh shit. It was so on Monday I had a flight, and on Thursday I believe it was. Yeah, on Monday I had a flight, and so it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it's like 5 days or 4 days before the flight. I realized that my passport expires because, like, when you go to Dubai, it has to be valid for 6 months. And it was in December, and my passport expired in January. So I was like, oh my God, I need a new passport. Well, how? And on Thursday, everything in our country, like where you, like all the official offices, was closed. And there was no freaking way that I would get a passport because it also takes one day to make it, and I would have to then, if I would go on Friday, it wouldn't be done. I mean, it would be really, really, really late if I would pick it up on Monday. I could miss my flight. So I was completely guided to to this woman, to this office that was miraculously open. And I was like, she was like, I was like, oh my God, this is my situation, and everybody are like, yeah, just come back tomorrow or on Monday or whatever. And she was like, no, come, I'll help you. I was like, okay. And the next day, the passport was in my hand. It was like less than 24 hours. I got a new passport in my hand, which was,
That
oh,
is a miracle. So we all
I,
know, no matter what country you're in, a turnaround of 24 hours for a passport is unheard of, no matter
yeah,
where you are. So you can see how spirit was drop this trip Now, Anya still had to push past fear. Anya still had to say yes. Anya still had to buy a plane ticket. She could have said, "Oh, I can't afford it, blah, 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 blah." Right? She said yes. She bought the plane ticket and then realized she didn't have a valid passport. Right? And her whole country is shut down. Yet this one office is open. And the woman said, "Yes, I'll help you." And she has it within 24 hours. That is what Anya did, was exhibit high trust. She wasn't probably attached. She was like, "Okay, I'm going to Dubai." Okay, like I bet you were in that moment like, okay, like you just went with it.
Yeah. I wasn't stressing out. I was like, I know, like if it's meant to be, I'm gonna be there, and I know I'm gonna be there. It's just like make it happen. So
Yep.
it's like it was, and I was guided. And like the funny thing was that I went to another town, which is like 1 hour away, to try to get the passport, and it didn't work, of course, because everything was closed. And then I ended up in my town. It was like 10 minutes away from my house. That woman with that office was open, and it's like she helped me. That was like, wow. Yeah.
I love
But
that. And that is so typical because you were using your logic
yeah.
and not listening to spirit.
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
totally understand that. It's sort of like, you get an inspiration, you say, "Oh, I want coffee." And you think it can only come from Starbucks or whatever. But spirit is like, "No, no, no. Go get your coffee here in this house that you're like, I don't even know who lives here." And they're like, "Go knock on the door." And you're like, "Knock on the door? This is a stranger's house. Why am I going here for coffee?" But you knock on the door and the woman's like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad to have company. I just brought coffee," like, and it's the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
But you have to, it feels counterintuitive always,
Always. Always. Like what spirit is saying, it's always against your logical mind.
always, because it's the polarity of our logical mind. I know.
And that's why it's scary. And it's like, oh my God, I'm weird, like, no, no, this is not possible. But it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, in your session when you text me right away of what was fascinating is, so she texts me the triangle with the spiral, and there was description on it that she found already. Like, so some other human got that same information with that symbol, and
Abundance. Yeah. Yeah.
it was all about abundance.
Yeah.
And she didn't know. She didn't, I mean, really, who has a triangle with a spiral inside of it? Nobody knows. Nobody would say, "Oh, that's abundance." We're not taught that.
Something. I mean, there are a few, similar symbols, but the one that I saw, it was that when I was researching, or I was, chatting to ChatGPT, it's like, yeah, it was connected to abundance. Absolutely.
So wild. So then later in her session, now Anya doesn't remember this, but I was reminding her that we are in the ascension. Her higher self said, "We are," like, in funny. Anya's probably going to listen to part two, but her higher self kind of chuckles and laughs and says, "Oh yeah, you guys are in the set, like you're giving birth, you know." And I was discussing with her higher self, like, you know, we can choose the birthing process. We can choose the environment. We can choose how we respond to it. We're still going to give birth, but do we give birth in joy, in love? And so her higher self was really saying, hang in there, have fun, be silly, play with children, just be in a high vibration. Be in the high vibration so that you can move through it with ease and grace and just play. And then one of the things that really impacted Anya was, and this is the part she remembered, her higher self said, "No judgment, nurture. So why did that impact you so much?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about nurturing. This session was really all about nurturing and birthing. Yeah. So basically, no judgment, because judgment, when we judge, it's this lower energy. Yeah. And when we nurture, is like we have high trust, that we will create something, and we just nurture. We are gentle. We are pouring love in it. So that really resonated with me. I mean, when I was listening later, I was like, oh yeah, that is true. And also, we are like we are in birthing channel. Yeah. So, and yeah, it is very tight in a way. We feel a lot of pressure. So I feel like every day now it's like, do not judge the pressure. Do not judge the pressure. Just nurture the pressure, because it's gonna get easier. Like, you are almost out, because I'm a mom, and I gave birth like 10
Yeah.
years ago to my son, and I know it wasn't easy. Contractions are not fun. Yeah. But when you have support, and like, you're going, and it's like, oh my god, and it's finally out, and I can feel that we are like almost,
Yes.
popping, like, yeah, like
Yeah.
out in the open. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah. And one more thing and we'll wrap it up, but what the other thing was really important when she said stress and burden is always inside. It's not like you're carrying the rock on your back. It's
Wow.
your emotions, it's um your beliefs, it's the heaviness that's on the inside. It's not external. And I thought that's a really good reminder that how you feel inside is because of your emotions and your fears and that stress. It's all inside. And you know, your higher self is like play, have fun. Of course, connect, there will always be connecting with spirit.
This was amazing session. So thank you very much, Isabel. Really, this was wow. I really hope that people will also, you know, get some valuable information out of it. And yeah, I'm really grateful. Thank you.
No, thank you. It solidifies that magic is real, working with the divine is real. It's how we used to live, and it gave me tremendous validation. So thank you, and thank you for sharing it and sharing this with humanity. I know some people will probably get a lot out of it. And I told Anja that I do want to put her under again. So we shall see if Anja's session shall return.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Spirit world is calling me.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Well, thank you everyone for spending a little time with us. Again, my name is Isabel Zimmerman. You can find me on attractingwisdom.com. There is a free download if you want. I send an email occasionally, just so you know. And see the wonder and magic of it all. Bye.
Bye.